So we're learning Torah Chafei, Chavches, Chafei, Chavzayin. Actually, it's the end of Chavzayin. So we have explained the structure with which it is through Shmiras HaBris that a person's learning of Torah brings them to a state of Hadras Panim and of radiating face, and that purifies spiritually, purifies the quality of his voice, and that gets him two things. It gets him deliverance from HaKadosh Baruch Hu for whatever he needs, and it's mezakehem, it merits him to shalom, to peace. Peace makes it possible to be mekarv everybody to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because, the peace is the union that enables emes. Rabbeinu says in Sefer HaMidas that Midas HaNitzachon, the trait of wanting to win, cannot stand the emes. The emes is just an impediment to me winning.
Emes?
Yeah. I mean, it's you have, I don't know if you ever seen a game, a sports game, and the ball goes out of bounds, the two guys the ball goes out of it obviously went off one guy, and this guy says, it's the other guy. The emes doesn't matter. It's just the question, am I going to get the call or I'm not going to get the call? Why? Because I want to win. The emes doesn't matter at all. The truth of the matter is that people don't even know what the emes is, what the real emes is. We now have this presidential race in America, where also in Israel the same thing is that he's a liar, she's a liar, that's one is a liar, that wasn't also a liar. Seder Gamor, the greatest president in the history of the United States was probably FDR, and he continuously deceived the people of the United States into getting into the Second World War and basically saved the world. I mean, it's just forget about it. The point is that mutar lashon v'darkei shalom v'chulu v'chulu v'chulu. But the real emes is the one that enables people to listen to one another and get close to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Now, when you get shalom, this is what we learned, that it says dafka, they got shalom through Mara, because shalom is a quality that is achieved dafka through bitter experiences. I mean, it's everybody, as we say, everybody wants to get into Gan Eden in a Cadillac, but it doesn't work that way. It is the bitter experiences that make a person humble. When things explode in a person's face, this is when he realizes that he's been a jackass throughout his life, and he's been making mistakes. And the derech of, and it's the derech, Monas HaKadosh Baruch Hu is that he forgoes practically all a person's affairs, because every avera is a machla, every avera is an illness. It's an affliction. In order to be rectified, in order to be, to to be healed, a person has to go through chemo, through surgery, through whatever it is that they have to go through. I mean, it's like en malasot. But the Kodesh Baruch Hu knows that our capacity to actually withstand the amount of bitterness, la'aleinu, that it takes to rectify our averos, we'll never be able to do that. There's no way on earth that we'll be able to do that. It's just too much, and we'll just crack. So what's the? Yeah. If we will be exposed to the amount of bitterness that our affairs actually require, then we'll just break. There's no. So Kodesh Baruch Hu does. He says, "I'll tell you what." He throws off practically all the affairs, and he gives a person just a tiny dash of bitterness. Is according to the koiches that a person can handle. That's what Chizkiyahu said. So now we're holding that in Seif Ches. This is what we got up to now. It says, we also explained that the reason why the peace has to come through bitterness, through refus, is because the lack of peace comes from imbalance of the different elements in a person's neshama, in a person's guf, in a person's. So you have to return the element, return the peace, return to the elements. It says V'Avram Zokin, and this is how we finish. V'Avram Zokin, he was zocher to Hadraspanim, which is Zokin, which gives you the peace. Hashem berech es Avram bakol. Hashem blessed Avram with everything. Zeh sholem, says verse oise sholem verse akol. That's the end of Sif Zayin. Now we hold both things. We said before that peace is the refuah for everything. And this is what Chazal says. V'yavo Yaakov sholem ir Shechem. And Yaakov came sholem, complete, the town of Shechem. That he was looking to three things. Shalom in his body, shalom in his property, and shalom in his Torah. These three things were shalom. Everything was in balance. And the Rebbe explains, shalom begufoi, peace in his body, complete in his body, hainu be'arba moros, it's not really bile, because bile is a certain organ that is responsible for a certain kind of there are these the best way that I can just translate it is that there are the four corrosive, effective liquids that the body produce. It's called maris. It's bitter liquids that the body produce. There is a red one, there's a black one, there's a white one, and a green one. You know, when a person gets his upset stomach and he throws up, you know, at the end when he threw up everything that was already in his stomach, you know, what he throws up is green, because that's the bile. So that's a green mara. There's white, there's red, and there's black. And they come from the four basic elements, which is fire, and wind, and water, and earth. Now, the important thing here is the balance. Important thing here is the balance. That the four maros, that each one will not overtake the other one. It has to be, everything has to be, you know, in proper order. That one will not, you know, overtake the other one, because that's when sickness comes. It is very important very, very important to understand, you know, for people who are watching, who will be watching this video and learning this Torah. You know, people look at, this Ara Moras and four elements used to be the way medicine was practiced around the 17th, 18th, and even 19th century. Okay, it moved from there. But nevertheless, it really does not matter. It really does not matter. In a sense, when you're looking at the four elements, you speak to a doctor from a hospital, and he'll tell you, well, this is like way old. Nevertheless, Eastern medicine is based on five elements. It's based on five elements. And their designation of what the heart is, what the liver is, what the glands are, and is totally different than Western medicine. Okay? Which means there are many, many different ways they are looking at the body. And the thing is that the medical world is subject to fashion, just like anything. You'll say, no, it's just based on facts. It's based on fact according to what is fashionable. But, at this time, this is fashionable, at this time, that is fashionable, whatever it is, this is, so what Rabbeinu says is the Abba Morais, the key point here is imbalance. It's very difficult to get the lighting right, because the clouds go over and now. That one will not overtake its one bile, one such liquid, will not overtake the other. And that says shalom b'mamoinoi, and that which he says complete in his money, with shalom in his property, in his possessions, shelo yeh ba'zeh ve'ochol es that this one will not come and consume that one. Kmo she'amro bas Lakdimon ben Gurion, one of the richest women in Yerushalayim. She was the daughter of Vanderbilt, or of Rockefeller. She was the. So she said to Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai, by the fact that her father lost all his money, because he wouldn't give tzedakah. And because of that, they also lost the fortune of her father-in-law. As you can imagine, as they say, money attracts money. Who do you think she married? The Rockefellers married the Vanderbilts, and the Gateses married the Zuckerbergs, or whatever it is, as the case may be. So she told Rabbeinu Chazal Bazeh v'achalazeh, being that her father's own fortune was lost due to the fact that he didn't give tzedakah, it came and actually ate the fortune of her father-in-law. So being that there's no shalom, one eats the other and cancels the other. Shalom b'teirasa, complete in this Torah, below kashas. There were no kashas. It is very fashionable amongst the loimdim that do not keep their eyes, the focus on the fact that the Teres Hashem is straight. There's no kashas in Teres Hashem. If you see a kasha in Teres Hashem, that's because I'm crooked. I don't get it. London Yeshiva, they love to go, some London, small minority, like to go and says, I have a bomba kasha. unbelievable kasha. It's like I stump everybody. I stumped the Gemara, I stumped Tosfos, I stumped all the Rishonim. They're totally unable to explain what my kasha is. What are you so proud of? It means because there's a fleck on your neshama, you're unable to understand. So the onus is in you. Beseder, nevertheless, you have to. The Baal Shem Tov says that when a person has a kasha, because that dinim the shemayim on him. And he says, and it's gula to be mamtik those dinim is to figure out that kasha, to give a teretz to that kasha. So he says, Yaakov came shalom means there's no kashas. Because he was so pure and he was so beseder, that the Torah was shalom, the Torah was Yaakov shalom ir Shechem, that it is peace to the body, peace to the possessions, and peace to the Torah. So we have found that it is through the Tikkun Abris that a person is zoche to Drusha and Be'ura Torah, the explanations of the Torah. With this, he's zoche to the purification of the voice, the spiritual quality of his voice. And this brings us to Shalom, which includes Shalom in health, Shalom in possession, Shalom in physical health, Shalom between his soul and his neshama, Shalom in his possessions, in his money, and Shalom in his Torah. A person is zoche to Shalom, and all around, he's mashpia on the entire world. He's mashpia on everybody, b'chinas Shalom. And when there's Shalom between people, they can talk about the tachlis. They can talk about, and then everybody will be zoche to serve Hashem, Shechem Echad, lend a shoulder to carry Avodas Hashem together. You can see it very, very well that when there is a lack of shlom bayis, so people lose their elasticity, to contain one another, to handle one another, to enable the other, his own space and his needs and everything. But shalom means that you have a keli, you have a vessel which enables the other one to express himself. Basically we say, so why is shalom dafka dressed in bitterness? The chuvah should be the other way around. It should be dressed in sweetness. Why dafka in bitterness? Because the way to give the other, whether it is an element in the body that is overtaking the other element, or a bazeh v'chalazeh in the expenses overtake the income, or there is a problem with Shambayis, is the tikkun is tzimtzum. The tikkun is always the one who is overstepping his boundaries to hold back. Let the other one have space. Let the other one have space. Usually arguments start is because we're unable to allow the other person to be who he is. Because, with all due respect, I understand that you are a nervous wreck, but I can't take it, I don't have the bandwidth, Having the bandwidth, so usually what happens is that things get bitter, things get contentious, things get whatever it is. And so people become even more fortified in their positions, less flexible, less elastic. They lose their elasticity. To stretch means that you give more place to the other, that you're able to forego what is quote-unquote rightfully yours, or should be rightfully yours, and let the other one have his space. When you're going through this process of shalom, shmir sabris, hadras panim, purification of the voice, and shalom, you are radiating it over your entire sviva. Everybody gets influenced. You don't even realize that. Your wife becomes happier. Your children become happier. Usually, you know, when you become a better person, suddenly your kids start flinging mud at you, or your wife starts flinging mud at you, and you want to like, I become better, and they become more angry? Well, the answer is they were angry all along. But until now, there was nobody to talk to. Because to talk to me was like talking to the wall. Now that, and it's not a conscious thing that it says, okay, now we can talk to them, now we can allow ourselves to be angry with them. That's not what it is. It's a gut feeling that they have. They subconscious recognize a certain readiness in me to really let me have it. Okay, the tendency right now on my part would be like, how dare you? I mean, who the heck do you think you are? So what do you want from my life? You know, whatever it is I say to you is wrong. Okay, if I say, okay, you're right, now you say I'm manipulating you. If you say that I'm upset, okay, now I'm this. And if you say, okay, so what do you want to go away? Now you're creating guilt feelings by me. I mean, no matter what it is that I do, it's wrong. So what do you want from my life? The answer is what they want is they want to be angry and for me to contain it. Once they will feel that I contain it and I'm there and I'm not rattled, we will come to a certain balance of the elements and there'll be peace. But the peace cannot be achieved unless they feel allowed to actually express themselves. They're mad as heck at me. The peace has to come through the bitterness. That's why usually when a person does tshuva, a person does this, the first thing he gets is a 2x4 in the face. Boom! First thing. You're a nut, you're a this, you're a that, you're a this, and that. The trick is to understand that now they feel safe. Until now, you know, I was a monster. So who wants to tangle with a monster? They know that they're not going to get anywhere. All I do is just squelch it down. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know this is a truck. I know what I'm talking about. Right, you know. And now we're going to say how all this is included in the Sabbath of Be'atuna. But this is what's included in the question of the sages of Athens and the answer of Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanania that was said in the beginning. Retzitza al pipshat, it means a chick, a froyach. Over here, the Rebbe uses it for the phonetic meaning of kaneh rotzotz, which are the goyim. The Navi says to Am Yisrael, you are trusting the covenant, the bris, the alliance that you have with Egypt, with Pharaoh at the time, or with the United States of America today, whatever it is. He says, I'm letting you know that what they are is a rotten, broken cane. What happens to somebody who leans on a broken cane? It just cracks on his arm. It's not going to help you. Retzitza, this is Kona Rotzos, this is the Akum, this is the Goy. Shem Roch Rechoiki Mibchinas Zokim. They are as far as you can get from the notion of Zokain, which is the opposite. It's Zek Kona Chochma. It's the tikkun of the Kona. The Kona, which means the throat, the air pipe. When it is proper, it's called Zek Kona Chochma. That's the tikkun of the Kol. The Tuma is called Kona Rotzos. It means a broken cane. A broken cane. This is the goy. There, as far as possible, Kona Chochma Mehadras Bonim, and they trust a rotten cane. That scold that which gets its chayas from the Kona Rotzos, from it's like an animal that depends itself on a faulty lifeline. It says the ma'as bevi'usei. In other words, to ma'as bevi'usei means that literally al pipshat, it means it dies in its egg, in its but bi'usei, we learned tzloisei bi'usei is the davening in the supplication in Aramaic. That also means from the same shurish. It says the ma'as bevi'usei, in other words, to kill and annihilate the tefillas of the goyim that daven to idols, the idols to Elohim Acharim. The Mas is the Retzitza, the way to take the Retzitza, the goyim, the entire world, and the Mas Biusei, in other words, and to get them away from Avodah Zarah, from davening to Avodah Zarah, which is Konerotzitz, which is a rotten cane. They can't lean on it. It's not going to help them. Elawat likra kulam b'shem Hashem. To bring them all into Avodas Hashem. How do you do? Heicha nafek ruach. How does the ruach come out? The only way that you accomplish this is through the tikkun abris. When Am Yisrael came to Mitzrayim, to Eretz Yisrael, and the Meraglim came to Jericho, and Rachav, who was the professional courtesan of all the kings of Eretz Yisrael, and she said, everybody is totally shaking the boots from you, to the point that I'm basically out of business. Nobody is able to perform. Nobody has its mind, on thinking about these things. And what she says, V'lokama odruach ve'ish, and no man has the ruach, to be able to do anything. Which means they didn't have a ruach v'tay v'sniv. So you see that the union of bris is called a ruach. It's also called a ruach. To have a type of ruach, it's called a ruach. It's called a spirit. It says, how do you actually elevate and extract the sparks of kedusha that were strewn and thrown away through the Gama Bris? The way that that it came in. In other words, the way to do it is how do you, okay, listen, I am where I am, I hold where I hold, I did what I did. What now? Be practical. What do I do now? So he tells them that the answer is behind the all. And the tikkun is the same way it comes back. I know. That the ruach, when the ruach shtus, the thought of fornication get into my head. And you say, whoa, okay, stop right now. You can just sit there. The mind just, tell yourself all these kind of whatever stories. And a person puts an end to it. what are you doing? You're not doing anything. What? You're just thinking. I say, yeah, but those thinking represent the nitzosos, the kedusha that got lost through previous Pgam Bris. They come to you now in order for you to rectify them. For you to rectify them is whenever it is that you realize, whoa, this is what I'm doing now. Put a stop to it right this minute. This is how you take out the kedusha, because this is mamash. Tshuvas hamishkal means that the tshuva is equal to the sin. That's the proper tshuva. The tshuva is, you owe 10 shekels, you give back 10 shekels. The tshuva has to equal the avera. So therefore, a person should not get rattled if he comes all of a sudden overcome with this horrible hirurim and horrible thoughts, and suddenly, a person finds himself in a situation that it's like, I don't know what happened to me. I don't understand. What's going on? So, Adrabah, this is my tikkun. This is my tshuva. This is my rectification. Because when those thoughts come to me, and those kaivas come to me, and I overcome them, this is the main tshuva and tikkun. And it says this is also an explanation why the shalom comes through the meriras. Those machshavas of niyuf are the bitters, and when I break them, it kills me to stop thinking them, because it says, come on, man, you gotta have a little fun sometime. You're just suffering all the time. You can't beat yourself, and you can't have a little fun. Come on, man. And as Uri Zohar once told me, every time that I overcome my taiva, I die a little. Mama, die a little. I was just like, it kills me. And Nafka, this brings to Shalom. This brings to Tikkun Abris. And this is, for this Yazochet to Drusha Torah that comes from Hadrasponim. With this Yazochet to the purification and the cleansing of the sound of your singing. And this brings Shalom. And with this you can bring the entire world to Avodas Hashem. Whether you talk to them Avodas Hashem or not, you're radiating this peace. And that enables, the give and take, and everybody's on. Shene'emar, Zkenim, Mishal Shavasu, V'bachurim Benigosam. When a person is Zoicha, to B'chinas Zkenim, in other Hadras Zoken, he is Zoicha also to Nigosam, to this music. In other words, that unless a person is Zoicha to Hadrasponim, he's not Zoicha that his music in Nignin Yosef. Until Nishon Rabbeinu, just this Tosefes, let's just finish it off, and we'll leave. It says in Seif Hey Vayar, Batzalem B'Shamot Rinosam. When Hashem saw that those who are attacking, they are making trouble to the Jews, when he heard their music. In other words, when a Kodesh Baruch Hu hears the person's voice, Kodesh Baruch Hu sees who is the one who was giving him trouble. Is this person is he giving me trouble? Which Akum, which Goy is the one who gives us trouble? And he saves us from them. And Rabbeinu says like this, that's why when Chas v'Shalom there is a Gzera, V'tzara l'Yisrael me'eze Akum, when a certain nation is given trouble for Am Yisrael, listen to this. As I tov l'nagin ha'nigun shel oisa uma, it is good to sing dafka ha'nigun of that nation. Shemetzelam. In other words, we have a problem with the Palestinians. Dafka sing their nigun. Dafka sing their nigun. When a Kodesh Baruch Hu will hang you, singing this nation's nigun, rina som, their nigun, their rina, their music of that guy that is giving you trouble, he will save you from them. This is an unbelievable secret that people should know. You know, when you have trouble from the Syrians, find out if there's some kind. I don't know how you can sing a Syrian song. It all sounds like cats being tortured, but you learn some kind of maybe that's the reason why in Hasanas they sing Ya Mustafa Ya Mustafa Ana bahibbak Ya Mustafa na 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 na. It's no, but this is to bring shalom, to bring shalom.